the most dangerous airports in the world. Gibraltar Airport, Gibraltar. Airports are typically situated in sparsely populated areas, and with good reason too. That's not the case with the Gibraltar International Airport, resident airport of the small British overseas territory off the southern coast of Spain. Here, planes fly out of an airport that is bisected by the busiest road in the entire peninsula. And if car traffic isn't enough to worry about for any pilot touching down in Gibraltar, they also have to contend with a 6,000-foot runway with water on either side of it, including the Mediterranean Ocean to the east and the Bay of Gibraltar to the west. Barra Airport, Barra, Scotland. This terrifying Scottish airport's landing space also doubles as a beach, making for a notably scenic descent. The beachside location becomes decidedly less pleasant when the tide is in. If a pilot miscalculates timing, his or her plane could be greeted by a high tide that prevents it from landing. The thought of arriving at this charming, tourist-frequented destination along the beach runway sounds like a fun, unique experience, but I'll happily sacrifice a sandy landing in favor of the knowledge that my runway will be there, and not submerged when I'm set to land. Princess Juliana Airport, St. Martin. Beachgoers enjoying some sun at the world-renowned Maho Beach in St. Martin are subject to some unique scenery in the form of commercial aircrafts with screaming jet engines descending perilously low. These planes are coming into the Princess Juliana Airport, which features very short runways that necessitate the low flight path. This has been known to lead the beach guests getting hit by jet blasts. Pilots also face a challenge when taking off from Princess Juliana, with mountains located right in the departure path forcing planes to turn as a part of their takeoff. Toncontín Airport, Honduras. In May 2008, an Airbus A320 overshot the infamous O2 runway of Honduras' Toncontín Airport, resulting in 5 deaths and promoting a runway extension in 2009. Even after the extension, O2 still reigns as one of the shortest commercial jet runways in the world at 6,112 feet. To put this in perspective, LAX runways are nearly 3,000 feet longer. At Toncontín, pilots also have to contend with the treacherous mountainous terrain and some powerful wind gusts as the result of the airport's high altitude. Madeira Airport, Madeira. The Madeira Airport's notoriously narrow runway was widened some years ago, but that wasn't until after tragedy already struck the Portuguese island. In 1977, a Boeing 727 overshot the runway upon descent, hydroplaned, and then crashed, leaving 132 people dead. Flying into Madeira has become considerably less treacherous in the years since, but pilots landing there are still required to fly towards the mountains and then quickly turn and descend upon the final approach. Thankfully, no further tragic incidents have occurred in the last 38 years, but that doesn't mean the airport makes for an easy landing site. Wilkins Runway, Antarctica. You would imagine that there are better materials that can be used in the construction of an airplane runway than ice, but that is precisely what comprises the Wilkins Runway in remote Antarctica. This non-commercial runway is used primarily to transport scientists and other officials to the Australian-owned Casey Station. Flights to the area, which have been running since 2008, face the daunting challenge of not only gripping the icy terrain, but also ensuring that the ice doesn't break up upon a plane landing. Haichi Airport, China. Chinese engineers took a look at a large mountain range in the Guangxi province and somehow saw an ideal space for an airport runway. At a cost of $136 million, Haichi Airport came about from the leveling of a giant 65 mountain range to build a landing site that sits 2,200 feet above sea level. The 1.4-mile-long and 150-foot wide runway comes with a 1,000-foot sheer drop-off at one side, making for a pretty tight landing, so much so, in fact, that it can only accommodate 3 flights per hour. Wellington Airport, New Zealand. Looking down towards the shoreline while approaching the Wellington Airport in New Zealand offers a visual delight of endless crystal blue waters of the Tasman Sea. But what is beautiful from far can be downright terrifying as you approach the airport's short 6,351-foot water-surrounded runway. What is already a tight, precise landing is made all the more challenging by a region's notorious gusts of wind, which can create hazardous conditions in the moments that a plane is attempting to touch down. Congonhas Airport, Sao Paulo, Brazil. You won't likely find a busier, more populated area surrounding an airport than that which lies around Congonhas Airport. That's because it lies smack dab in the middle of bustling Sao Paulo. That leaves precious little margin for error for pilots who must also contend with slick runways. In 2007, a TAM Airlines Airbus A320 skidded on a slippery spot, crossed onto a roadway, and crashed into a warehouse in a tragic accident that claimed the lives of all 186 passengers and crew on board.